Welcome to the Phlip Side episode 27. Becky, you're
Woot.
number 27. I'm here with the legend herself, Becky
Yeah.
Park on Posh. Becky, welcome to the Flip Side.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored, even though I'm the 27th person you asked. I'm honored.
That was crazy. Is I was going to ask you in the very beginning, but then you asked me like to come on your show, and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do this back to back. It would feel weird. So I was
Mm,
like, I got to put a little
mhm.
distance to put a little
Okay.
distance in between this. But
I
those
mean,
that don't know, I was on Becky's show, and Becky did a great job
yes.
interviewing me. So the bar has
Thank
been
you so
set,
much.
like up
Okay.
to here. The bar is taller than Becky, so
But
the bar has been set.
I do think it was like a year and a half ago. I was on your channel. You did interview me
Yes,
once. You
that
remember?
that
I
was
remember
alive.
that.
Yeah, that was a
Oh, it was
long
alive.
time
Okay.
ago.
It was
Yeah,
a
I
long
was a
time ago.
long. I
So
was a nobody
this is,
back then, and you were like, "Let me
oh,
go on this nobody's channel." That's how it was.
no, no, definitely not. Yeah, this is the second time, so I feel super honored.
Oh, there we go. Well, we gotta have you on third time sometime when
Yeah,
when
next
when
week?
when
Be
you're
next
on
week. No, I'm just
when you're on your yacht whenever that happens. When you buy that
okay.
yacht you've been looking at, probably like 2 months
For
from
that
now.
for that little neighborhood lake in Illinois.
The
When
only
when I'm
yacht
in
in
my huge boat.
Champagne. The,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
i-
I that would
i-
be quite
if you were to have a yacht, what would you call it? Every yacht needs to have a name. What would the Becky Park yacht be called? Mm.
maybe something really dorky like Wingardium Leviosa or something something from Harry
Oh,
Potter.
I thought that was like Italian or something.
It is Latin, but it's a spell from
uh,
Harry Potter because that's how evil I
oh, okay. So
something yeah, something like
Uh,
that.
I'm a Harry Potter expert. I have watched the first movie, the
Stop
fourth
talking to
movie,
me. Stop talking.
and Deathly Hollows Part One. So those are the three that I watched. So I know everything about anything of Harry
First of
Potter.
all, the
So
movies are upsetting, because they're just nowhere
oh,
near as
okay,
good as I have read the
that's
books. This is, like, kind of embarrassing, but also I'm, like, slightly proud of it too, low key, but I have read the series probably a minimum of 20 times through, all the way through. A
whoa,
minimum. Maybe more than
and,
that, but,
and like
like
read, not book on
yeah.
tape. You sat down and
No,
read
no,
them.
no. I've also done book on tape because I really like the guy who reads the books, he's really good. Like, I've also listened to them, but also, like, by myself holding the book in my hands, like, reading them, have done a minimum of 20 times. It's
I I,
really cool.
I never got that. Like, don't you already know what's
Yeah.
happening? Like, why do you keep reading it again?
But, there's so many books, and if you let at least I mean, I you do, you already know what's happening, and I usually wait about a year before I reread them, but, I don't know, it's because she's just such a good writer. I still, like, laugh out loud at times, I don't know, it's really good, and you forget little things, but yeah.
So you're saying the movies didn't do it justice? Is what you're saying?
Oh my god. No, they were very upsetting. I mean, I still went to every single one, I lined up at midnight, like, I still did
Did
all
you
of it.
dress up?
Oh my god, yeah, I have, like, one robe, it's for, like, five-year-olds, so it comes up to, like it's like a mini dress on me, but, like, that's all they had at Party City when I went to buy it, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and I wear it every time, or I did wear every time that something was released. That's what I am for Halloween every year. It's like, I don't know, yeah, I did, I dressed up, I had the glasses, yeah,
Dang.
I'm very
It
cool.
was almost as good as your 80s costume at FlipCon. That was
Yes. Ooh, somebody, found out at FlipCon that I didn't bring an '80s costume because I don't read the memos, and I didn't know that that was gonna be a thing. I didn't know there was gonna be, like, an '80s theme for the last night, and she was like, "I'll just thrift you something." I'm like, "No, no,
dang.
no, it's okay, like, you don't have to," and she came back with this thing, and I was like, "Alright, here we go." Like,
You were
no
more
turning
dressed up
back
than
now.
me. I legit just had a
Oh
hat
my
on. That was my
I
thing. I just like
know.
put a Wayne's
It's
World
like I
hat.
should have come prepared. I legit didn't know, but I don't even have '80s things, so, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have
So
bought anything, so
I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I don't know what the 80s people were. I'm a 90s
when were
kid.
you born?
In the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
This is shocking to you?
I forget that you're like that much younger.
I'm not
That's
that
crazy.
much younger than you. I was born in
Well, Tiffin
1990.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Does that
like
make you
the
feel
bare
better?
minimum. I feel a little bit better, but
Yeah.
my goodness.
Speaking of FlipCon, I was surprised at how old Tiffany was at FlipCon, the Ghetto Gazelle. Did you ever tell you her age?
I don't know if she told me, but I think actually, no, I think she did tell me for some reason.
Yeah, I was
But yeah,
shocked.
I know. She
I still
is
think it's a
aging
lie.
beautifully.
Yeah,
Huh?
not like me. Not like me.
Not like not like not like
I'm
you. But
I'm
yeah, no,
I'm I'm
she
aging like cheese. She's aging like wine. That's how it's working.
oh man, yeah, she's a beautiful soul inside out. And yeah, she looks great. Looks wonderful.
She's she's perfect. Besides the fact that she's dodging me on this podcast, always has excuses on why she can't make it.
Oh
Yeah, right.
no.
Yeah.
You just gotta every night just be like, what about now? What about tomorrow? How does that you just gotta
just
be
just have
persistent.
a copy and paste message.
Yeah,
Just send it every single
yeah,
day. You available now? How
exactly.
about now?
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
work.
so
One of those
so speaking of FlipCon, guys, this is my first time ever meeting Becky in the
in
flesh.
person.
I
Mhm.
feel like this was Becky's like first appearance to anybody, right? Have you ever gone to any reselling kind of conference event before?
Never. The only
Yeah.
I did so Poshmark does these things called Posh sips. So like if you
Oh.
think that you're an experienced Poshmark seller, you can host a Posh sip, which is like just in your local area. You say, I'm gonna have this thing and I'm gonna invite people to come. And it could be existing people who sell in Poshmark, or it could be
Hmm.
people that you want to like show them Poshmark and expose them to like selling online. It's kind of like an MLM, like an invite of like, come buy Tupperware from it, but it's just like Poshmark. And like you tell Poshmark, they send you all this swag that you can like pass out at the thing. And I did one of those, I remember, like, I don't know, it's like 4 years ago at this point. I want to say like 3.5, 4 years ago, I hosted
Wow.
one in my
Okay.
area. So I did that, but that wasn't like a big reseller meetup, hangout, or whatever. And I did do like a virtual Posh Fest one year. I was one of the speakers, but I didn't meet anyone in the flesh. We were all just, it was like
Yeah.
this. So that was really cool. It was so cool to like see people that I've been watching for, yeah, 4 or 5 years. Like Ashley Hustle at Home Mom. She was probably one of the first YouTubers that I watched when it came to reselling, and like seeing her in the
She had a
flesh,
channel
I'm like,
before you?
oh, way before.
Oh
Yeah, she
wow. Okay.
was
So
she was
yeah.
kind of one of the OGs. I mean, I think she did come maybe a little bit. I don't know. I don't know like where she is in the timeline of like Jenna from Empty Hanger. But like she was one of the originals, but she was also one of the few like women who talked more about eBay than Poshmark, because I feel like a lot of the people that I watched at the
Yeah.
beginning, oh, sorry, people are trying to message me. But I feel like they
You're an
talked a
important
little bit
person.
more. Well, it's just Facebook Marketplace saying, "This thing has been listed for a while. Do you want to relist it?" Like, no,
That's a
Facebook,
very
I have
important
stuff
message.
on
It's
it.
it's a
I get
very
like
important
told
message to
twice a
get.
day. They're like, "Hey, just so you know, this thing is still in our database." And I'm like, "It's fine." Just I did actually have a random Facebook Marketplace sale today, though. So I was like, "What?
Like shipping
Yeah,
wise, you have to ship it.
yeah." I was like,
What?
"Wait, how do I
That's
find
still a
it?"
thing?
Like, it's so long. I know, I know. So I don't ever
Wow.
relist anything when they tell me to, but I
Uh,
will leave things there. And once every like 4 months, someone will buy something from me. So,
Teach me
you
your
know,
ways because I cannot sell something on there to save
I
my
just did.
life.
I just told you what I do. I list it, I forget about it, and then 4 months later, another one thing will sell. So,
It's
yeah,
crazy because I sell things maybe like once a month on there, but they're always
that's
local.
good.
I list it as something I want to
Oh,
ship, but they always
yeah,
like, oh, I live 5 minutes away from you. Can we meet up? Which is better for me
yeah,
because I just get cash for it, but
yeah.
I cannot ship anything on there to save my life.
Yeah. No, today was a good Facebook Marketplace day. I had one sale that they, just ordered and I'm going to ship it to them. And I had one person reach out and they're like, "Can I pick this up from you?" Because it was like I live near the University of Illinois, and it was a University of Illinois hoodie. And they were like,
Okay.
Can I buy this from you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "A student though, they don't have a car." They're like, "Can you come to my apartment?" And I'm like, I really despise driving on campus and like parking on campus because there's nowhere to park. And he's like, I have a garage though. And I'm like, I am not going to go in your garage and like meet up with you in an underground garage. So we can meet at the parking lot of Walgreens. And he's like, okay, that
Yeah.
works. Because I'm just like, dude, I have other things
Seems
to
like you watched a
do.
lot of Lifetime movies. That's what it
I mean,
sounds
it's
like.
not even that, but like, I think I have that issue where like, they say it's the people that are too polite to say no. Like, I had a
Mm-hmm.
video, maybe half a year ago about how I like went to legit the scariest thrift store of my life. And it was so scary because it's like a just privately run thrift store. I went in there. There was just one guy who was working and he was like on his phone the whole time. And like, so I'm just like walking around and it's fine. But when I went to go pay, he was like, "Do you have cash?" And I was like, I don't ever have cash on me. I only have card." And he's like, "Okay, well, I have like," and it was like dead of winter. There was no heat. So like their heat was not running. And he was like, "I have to like take this to the back. That's where our credit card machine is." And there's like
What?
another room off to the side, and the room isn't even like there's not a door, there's just like a curtain hanging, like a bed sheet or something.
Oh
And he's
my
like, "So you have
goodness.
to come with me back here." And I'm like, "Oh," but like I was too polite to be like, "No, dude, like that's," so I like followed him back there and like it ended up being fine, right? Like, but it was like
Hey,
this backside room and there's like a whole ton of like other stuff there. And then he goes like to the back of the back room with my car. And I'm just like, I don't know. He could be like writing down whole paper, but he could be like doing all this. He could be
that's
getting a gun
crazy.
and some duct tape and like, but I
Yeah.
was just too scared of like upsetting him or like making him feel like I was scared of him. Like I want him to think like, yeah, I trust you. Like this is normal. Like sure, let me just
Because
follow you into this
you're
room.
not the biggest person, Becky. You're very easily
And I'm
abductible.
not
So
the
it's
biggest
like,
person. And so I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just so I didn't want to offend him, So I'm trying to get better
hey,
about like just not putting myself in these situations because I yeah, yeah.
was it worth the risk? Did you find some amazing stuff?
No, it wasn't amazing. It was like okay. I got like 3 things, each thing sold for like, I don't know, 25, $35.
You
Like
got
it
some
was all
Talbots or
right.
something like that? Some Talbots
Yeah, it
tweed
was
jacket?
like I got like a Rachel Zoe like sweater. I got like some Clark's shoes for men. That actually did do pretty. I think it was Clark's. It was like very whatever type stuff. But it was one of those places where there was stuff everywhere. It wasn't a lot of clothes, and I bet people like you could have gone in and found some really great
Wow.
treasures. And like nothing really had prices. He was just like, I don't know, $8. I'm like, okay, like, it was just, it was
You see,
very
that
bizarre.
guy wasn't making that much money at all. He was like, I don't care. It's like,
No, no, that's why the heat wasn't on in the dead of
yeah.
winter, like, so, I mean,
Mm.
and this is a place it's a little outside of like, it's maybe an hour away from where I live, but I go there when my students have this festival, so we'll go there about once a year, so and it's right across the street from a restaurant that my friend owns, and so I wanna go back and just see if it's still running, like, I don't I can't
If
imagine
it's
that it
still there.
is, but
Yeah.
yeah, but they had a lot
Well,
of
if they
stuff.
have one credit card machine and it's like a mile away, probably not a good sign for the
I
future
know,
lifeline of the
I
store.
know. And then the
Yeah.
craziest thing is I didn't even, like, check later. Like, I didn't even check my
Oh, you didn't
credit
see
card
what he
statement.
charged you?
Yeah, I didn't even think to, like, but and also because I just never look at that stuff. My husband does all of our finances. But, I mean, I guess, like, it wouldn't have been shocking if he was like, "Why do you have this, like, $13,000 charge?" Like, it's like he really could have done whatever. I had no idea what was going on.
Maybe
But
that's how they survive. Did they go up and they upcharge every
maybe,
single
yeah.
time? They
He
know no
I
one's gonna
saved
check it. Yeah.
I know,
So
so
so anyways, before we're on this tangent, it's just two people with ADHD trying to have a conversation. It's gonna be
I
interesting. I don't even know how we got. Oh, your watch distracted us, and we went to
we were talking about
Facebook, and then
Facebook
we went to
Marketplace, we were
the
talking about I
yeah.
didn't wanna go in his garage. There we go. We
There you
tracked
go.
it. We
Anyway,
tracked
back to Flipcard now. Now we're
okay,
back to
okay.
Flipcard. Your
Yes.
first time ever being at a social
Yeah,
thing. How'd you like that?
yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I did really enjoy it. It was It was what I expected it to be, but then it was also so much more, I feel like. I don't know, there's just something about connecting with people who have a similar interest or
Yeah.
hobby or whatever as you, but I think it was so much more than that. It was, like, connecting with people on, like, a human level, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, like, yes, I talk to people about flipping stuff online, but, like, even more importantly, I feel like I talk to a lot of people about, like, really random but, like, meaningful things. Like, I talked to Drew from Profit Monsters for a while about, like, our faith, you know? And like Renzi came up to me and was like, "Hey, I really like when you post about your kids on Instagram." And I'm like, "I didn't even know you knew who I was." But like, we like talked about kids for a little bit and like talked to Ashley from Hustle at Home. I mean, it was just like talking about kind of more like why are we doing these things? Like why are we reselling and
Yeah.
getting to the heart of just like who we are as people. Like I think I didn't think that that would happen. And then like going in with the mindset of like, okay, Chris and Kathy are my best friends. They just don't know it yet. And then like finding my way into the car everywhere they went. I'm like, hey, can I come? And they're like, yeah. Like, I just was just like, we're gonna be
I'm
best friends.
sure.
Like,
I'm sure they didn't mind.
that's what they kept saying, but I'm sure they did, and I didn't care. I
Mhm.
was still like, I'm getting in
There we
your
go.
car. Like, I
There you go.
just wanted to hang out with them all the time because in my
Yeah.
head, we are best friends. Like,
There we
you
go.
know, yeah.
I remember you telling me that you had like a big fear that no one's gonna know who you were, and I'm like, you're freaking Becky Park, man. People know
I
who Becky
mean,
Park is.
what I was telling you is that FlipCon really is kind of more like, yeah, it's like those people that do
It's
like a
it's
lot
it's
of the
the
garage
hard goods,
sale.
yeah, hard goods
It's
garage sale
hard
audience, yeah,
goods,
yeah,
it's garage
yeah,
sale picking, it's like people who know so much about so many random things. And like that's just like not what I do. But I think like one thing I kept hearing from other people in regards to FlipCon and what they liked about it was they felt like there was more diversity as far as like who was on the panels and stuff, not just like
hmm
in skin color, although there was some of that too, but also like diversity in like what we talked about. And so I think that's part of what I brought to the table. Like I'm not doing hard goods, I'm not full time, I'm not like, but yeah, so it was really cool. I went in just being like, okay, nobody's gonna know who I am, and that's okay. Like I'm gonna fangirl over the people that I want to fangirl over. And like some people that I have built relationships with over time were gonna be there too, that I was really excited to meet in person, like you, like Drew, like Joey Bada Bing, and like obviously Josh and Haley. Like I have
yeah,
like known Josh since we both started around the same time and would like root each other on. And so that's a like special relationship for me, knowing
yeah,
that like he was there for me when I was nothing and I was there for him. And like I'm so proud of the way that he's blown up and everything that he's doing. It's so cool. So it
yeah.
was a really cool experience. Yeah, I'm sad that like Josh and Haley are not running it anymore or like,
Yeah,
going to do it more.
yeah. So what I've heard is not confirmed, but what I heard is that they're still going to help a lot behind the scenes, but just it won't be their thing.
Yeah,
But still,
but
still going to be doing
yeah,
it. So I think
yeah,
it should still be fine. But I am waiting for
yeah,
the Becky Park Fest next year. The Becky Park Fest in Champaign.
yeah. No,
This is
I
that that's not happening.
that number one, no one would come. It's champagne. Number two,
I
I
would
do actually
come.
plan. You would come and you'd be like, but why did I come here? Like, where is my yacht going to go? Like, there are only little lakes. Like, it's
We
just
should have
not
it at that creepy thrift store. That should be
at
the
that. That
everyone
is,
goes to
yeah.
that
Oh man. Oh yeah. Everyone just goes picking at the thrift store, and then there's a line out the door of people trying to pay with their credit cards. Like,
with the credit card.
oh
Yeah, the
yeah,
guy would quit. The guy would legit quit.
he, yeah. Yeah. Like, but I mean, he was very nice. He was very nice, but it was a situation I should not have put myself in. But no, I actually do plan a lot of events, but they're all like for my school because I teach high school choir, and it's like right now we're in the midst of planning like a silent auction because we're trying to go to Disney World at the end of December into January. And I teach at a school where it's like over 60% of the students are low SES, like get free and reduced lunch, that sort of thing. I think actually they offer free lunch to everyone at my school. But
Oh,
so it's a lot of students who like this trip is like $1,800 a kid. And I just tell kids, I'm like, tell me how
dang.
much you can give. And they're like, I can give you 200. I'm like, okay, so we're going to figure out how we're going to raise the rest, you know? So we're doing like this big silent auction, and I don't know, like we just have to plan all these things all the time. So I feel like I'm always in plan mode, and I get
Yeah,
what Josh was saying. Like he was like, I hate it. And I do too. I hate it, but I've done it enough now because I've done a
yeah.
lot of that kind of stuff where I feel like I know what has to get done and like what you're, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I would
Yeah.
never do like a
No,
reseller type thing,
I
especially
feel
right
you on that. The biggest thing I did was probably like from my old church. I did like conferences where I had people come from all over the country, but there was like
now. Yeah,
200 people. But that was a big pain to organize
huge.
because
Like
I'm
coordinating
also
all those
really
flights.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also really bad at giving tasks away because I'm like, I can do this, I can do this. And the
Yeah.
best leader I think is the one that just says, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you just trust them. Uh, I think I did 7 or 8 conferences, and by the sixth one, I was like, okay, you gotta do this, you gotta do this for you guys,
Yeah.
because I was like, there's no way I could be there for all of them.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see it's not easy. People think it's just
Yeah.
like I even heard some people like accuse him of like ripping off his audience and trying to make money off these things. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way he
And
made
on the
any money
flip
on this thing.
side, if they did make some money off of it, like in my opinion, they should. Like they put
It's
together
a
all, you know,
a
it's
lot of
all this
yeah.
work, all this effort. Like I don't know. I feel like they should make a little bit of money off of it, you know? Like, so to me, the fact that like they lost money on this because they were like too generous in that they didn't charge enough and all that kind of stuff, I'm just like, why'd you guys do that? You know, like you guys could have, yeah. So, but yeah,
They
it's
did it so
people.
Becky Park could have her come out tour. People could know who
Oh
Becky Park
boy.
is. That's
Oh
why they did
boy.
it.
Yeah. No, it was fun though. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that he did it, and I'm thankful that he
Yeah.
asked me. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I just had regrets about not going the first time then. I'm like, I should have went for the
I
first one.
know.
Yeah,
I
it would have been
know.
great too.
Yeah, and it's hard to travel to things like that because my family doesn't want to come. They don't care, you know, like they don't care
Your
about
family
any of this
doesn't want to
stuff.
go to Charlotte in August.
My husband is just like, what? He don't know any of these people. He's just not a part of this world. And so like nobody wants to come to this with me. And so it's a lot of time for me to be away with, you know, from them. And like this was so much fun. And that's why even like people were like, are you gonna go to the reseller rally? And I was looking at dates and I'm like, I can't like I'm like teaching, I'm like doing, you know, all these
Hmm.
things. So I was thankful for the timing of it. You know, I was able to slip away for a couple days right before work started. My mother-in-law was able to come and stay because my husband actually did start. It wasn't teaching, but he was like, it was like his institute days. So he was going to be at school and the kids would have no one.
I
So my
gotcha.
mother-in-law stayed with them, and like we worked it out. But yeah, the stuff that's like during the school year, it's hard. And then it's just hard to like be away from kids that long, you know? So,
Yeah, no.
but it was good.
Yeah. So I got a question for you, Chris.
Yes.
Um, when you interviewed me, you asked me how do I manage to do everything? I
Mm-hmm.
had the same question for you. How can you be a wife, a mom, a teacher, a reseller, a YouTuber, an influencer, all this stuff? How does that all fit in the Becky Park pie chart of your brain?
So I feel like I told this to you too, but my answer truthfully is just do it all mediocrely. Like just be mediocre at everything and be okay with that. Like, I mean, that's the same thing I tell my students when they want to sing and they're like, "What how should I go about this?" And I'm like, "Well, you have to make a decision now. You have to decide if you're going to be really good at one type of singing or if you want to be mediocre at all kinds of singing." And I was like, the truth is, I chose to be mediocre at all kinds of singing because I like it all. I don't want to only be able to sing pop in such a way that like I can't sing classical music if and when I want to. And I don't want to only sing opera so that when I try to do some Lady Gaga, it sounds ridiculous, you know? But like if you're gonna be really good at opera, you're not gonna be able to do anything else. It just that's the
I don't
way it
know.
is. Your voice is too like
Lady Gaga opera sounds pretty good. No, 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 that sounds like
Lady
that could hit.
Gaga is a little bit of like she can sing jazz really well. I bet her classical stuff is like pretty decent, I bet. But it's not like she could be the lead in an opera. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like you could try and she'd probably be decent, but it wouldn't be like anywhere close to like an actual soprano in,
Yeah.
an opera. But yeah, I just kind of decided like I'm gonna do all of the things that excite me. I'm not gonna even be close to the best at any of them, but like that's okay. Like I'll just do what I can and have a good time. Like a good YouTuber, a good like person on Instagram, like they should have like a schedule, they should adhere to it. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know when it goes up. Like when I have time to get something up, I'll throw it out there. Like, it's just kind of, yeah, like I just kind of do my own thing, make it work when I can, because that's all the capacity I have. And I try not to let that apply to like my teaching or to like who I am as a mom or who I am as a wife. But like even in teaching, like I'm not that crazy like dictator choir director that's like, I have to have the best choir in all the land. Like, I don't care. As long as my kids are having a good time, as long as they feel safe in my classroom, as long as like we're able to
Yeah.
build relationships, like that's what matters to me. I'm not going to kill myself over like, having the best choir program in the world. I never got into teaching for that. I just got into teaching to like hang out with some kids, like hopefully be a positive influence in their lives and just like be another adult in their corner. So yeah, that's the answer. Just be mediocre and it's
I,
okay,
I feel like you're underselling yourself when you say that, but because like
No, but
even if you are mediocre, there's still only 24 hours in a day. To get the stuff
there
accomplished, you
are.
have to be disciplined in
Well,
what you're doing.
and the second answer to that question is that my husband does a lot. Like he does
Oh,
more than most husbands. And when I talk to people about this, especially men, they're like, please don't tell my wife. Like they're like, don't tell my wife that your husband does all this stuff. But like my husband does 95% of the cooking in our house. He's just better at it than I
whoa,
am. He does like 90% of the cleaning. He does like 50 to 60% of like driving the kids around. He is a teacher at my kids' school, so he takes them with him and then he
yeah,
brings them back home. Like he is so hands-on when it comes to household things. And it's partly because he's better at it than me, but also because he knows that like if he frees up my time in doing those things, then I can use that time to make money. So like the women who are like, how do you do it all and like keep a house and like raise the kids and you have a job? And I'm like, but like I don't really keep my house like my husband does, like, and that frees
mm-hmm.
up hours in the day when I could be like cooking, I could be whatever, but instead like he's letting me edit or he's letting me photograph or list or
That's awesome.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the second piece of the puzzle that I want to make sure everyone knows, because I don't want people to think that I'm just like either one, lying, or like two, like some superwoman that's like capable of doing more than anyone else. I'm
yeah,
not. It's that like he picks up so much of the slack, especially in the areas that he knows he can.
yeah.
And like we try to do some stuff together when it comes to the house. Like Sundays are our big meal prep day, and we'll make a ton of food for like my lunches and for, a few dinners throughout the week and stuff. But yeah, he just does so much around the house that I know in a lot of family dynamics, it's usually the wife or, that part of the
Yeah.
couple that does it. That's the second
Oh,
answer.
so
Yeah.
be mediocre and find a good husband.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
Honestly. Yeah. That makes a world of
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
It's awesome though that he sees like you having this dream of whatever being successful at a reselling a YouTube, and he just encourages it. That's not very often found. People say, "Hey, why don't you
Yeah.
just focus more on this?" That's really
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, and that's a question I get a lot too. Like, how can I get my partner to support me? And my answer is they're not going to until you can show them the money. They're not going to
Ah,
until you can show them
yeah.
the time that I'm taking away from like time that we could hang out or whatever.
Hmm.
Like, there's purpose behind it and it's going to benefit all of us. So even my husband,
For sure.
when I first started reselling, he was kind of like apprehensive, like, what is this? Why is there all this crap in our house? And like, you know, but when I started sending all these, deposits into our bank account, he's like,
I
okay. And
was
then
like,
when I was
okay.
like, yeah. And then when I was like, I want to start a YouTube channel about this, he was like, I mean, like, you already don't have that much time to begin. And I was like, let me just try and see what happens. So he always calls me little girl with big dreams. He's always like, you're so little, but you just
I
have
love
such
that.
big dreams. And I'm like, I do. But yeah, I mean, I think at this point he knows well enough to just like let me go. And he knows that I know myself well enough to know like when to call something quits or when
Yeah.
something is too much, you know? And every now and then he'll give me a gentle nudge of like, listen, I know you want to edit right now, but you need to sleep. Like he's good about doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it like the support really came in like a meaningful way when I started putting a lot of money in
Yeah,
that bank account.
that makes sense.
So,
That makes sense.
yeah. Yeah.
So walk me down memory lane. When did you decide to do a YouTube, and what was the driving force behind it?
So I think I had been reselling for like a year and a half. And like I said, I was watching people like Ashley from Hustle at Home Mom. I was watching just a bunch of people, but the majority of them were people who were selling full time. And I thought that that was really cool. But also, like, I knew, especially at that time, like, I was not going to ever be a full time seller. And so I just really wanted to hear numbers that sounded more like mine. I wanted to see day in the life type videos that looked more like mine, trying to juggle all the things that you said. And also, like, I just didn't see a lot of diversity as far as like, ethnicities and that sort of
Yeah.
thing in this space. And so I was like, I don't know, like, I think maybe there would be some value that I could bring to the table showing a part-time reseller's journey when it comes to reselling. And so that was kind of like the reason I wanted to do it. And then I had an Instagram before I started YouTube, and one of my posts I like did the geo, I said like champagne or something, which I never usually do. And my friend who had been working in videography and stuff, doing a lot of freelance projects, he, I think, was just looking at like the champagne post, and he came across mine, and he was like, I didn't know you had this like whole other life, because we were like friends at church. And I was like, yeah, I just like, sell stuff online, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I think I had maybe like 7 or 8,000 followers on Instagram at the time. And he's like, this is pretty big. Like, what are your plans with this? Like, what do you want to do with it? And I was like, I mean, eventually I think maybe I'll start a YouTube channel, but like, I don't think it's time yet. I want to wait till I have like 10,000 followers on Instagram. And he's like, no, he's like, do it now. And he's like, I'll help you. He's like, I love helping people who are helping themselves. He's like, I'll film for you and stuff and edit. And I'm like, okay. So my first 2 or 3 videos, he filmed, he edited, he made my first like bumper.
I was gonna ask, like, how do you? Because like, I was watching some of your old ones today. I was like, how are they that good? That makes
No,
sense.
so the first
Yeah,
3
like
he
this
did.
one right here, right here. Yeah.
Yes, so he
Yeah.
did that one on his like very professional.
Listen,
Oh my
this
gosh,
is like professional quality right here. This is
it's
crazy.
professional quality.
My
And
next
then
tip would be,
after,
and this kind of contradicts what a lot of other resellers will say.
see, he did all of this. He did all of this. And then after, I think it was 2 or 3 videos, he was like, so I'm so sorry, but like I don't have time to keep doing this. And I was like, what if I pay you? And he's like, I don't have enough time. And so then I was left to my own devices, and that's when the video quality went from here
We
to
got to see
here.
when the quality drops. Okay, I got you.
Pull it up. And what I tell people is like when I first started filming myself, my phone was so old and my laptop was so old that I had to film in 2-minute increments on my phone, because if I
Is
did
this one
like,
of them?
And my daughter, taking my daughter is not a huge deal.
I think so. I think that was one of them. I think that was
Vlogging in the car was a really big deal back then, man. People loved
that
the
was a
vlogging
big
in the
deal.
cars. Huh?
That was big. Why is this nighttime or early morning? Look, yeah, this is me it's very shaky. I didn't even like, and I've never had a gimbal. I really should get one, but
Look at
oh,
these
the
angles. I like that. I like the angle of the Dymo. Look at these
oh,
cuts
that's
to
my
the
old like
Excel
spreadsheet
sheet.
that I used to
Yeah.
use. Wow. Yeah. No,
Look
I
at the
mean,
organization.
most people are like, your first YouTube video is always going to be your worst. And I'm like, not me. My first one was very professional, and it really went downhill from there. But,
It was funny. When Mel was here, we watched like some of our older ones together, and Mel was just like this the whole time. Just like just blinking and just like, and she had so many cuts and all her things. She'd be like anytime she paused, she cut.
Yeah.
like a trim it, and so just like you can just see all the cuts.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
My
times.
first one, I was also in the car. My first one, so I
Nice.
believed in the vlogging in the car style, and I was also on my
Yes.
phone that was super shaky, and I didn't know how
Hmm.
to film properly. It was hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
We
And I'm
won't show
still
that
not
here.
like I'm still definitely not the best at like filming or like having the best production value because again, mediocrity is the name of the game. But but I think it's a testament to like if you want to do it, just do it with what you have, you know? People always think like, but I can't until I have the best equipment or I can't until I have this many followers on Instagram or whatever. But like you just got to do it and just get through the first stages
What
of like figuring.
what do you use now? As like, do you have a camera or do you still use your phone or
Um,
how does it work?
I do. I don't have it downstairs with me. I don't even know what it's called. I I think it's a
It's
Sony, but it's like a the viewfinder
ZR1 if
comes
it's a Sony. Yeah, probably a ZR1
it's
maybe.
like that really
Yeah.
popular vlogging one. Yeah, yeah. And I don't
You
even vlog.
you have a gimbal with it or is it just like a tripod?
I just put it on the tripod. And I do have a GoPro that I
I
bought
mean,
off of Harry Tornado, but I have
oh,
not used it in like 3 years. So,
dang, 'cause it looks really good right now. So it's
thank you.
whatever you're doing, it's working.
Well, right
This
now I'm on my
no, I'm saying
camera.
like
I mean,
this one
my
right
computer.
here.
Oh,
Was this on the Sony?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see, it's
it
really
is.
see. I like how the
Yeah,
background's faded. You're
I
full focus.
know,
It's
right?
very
Yeah,
professional,
you
very
just have to
pro.
press the setting that says, like, background, blah, 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 whatever, but
See,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think you're
mean
giving yourself enough credit, man. See, I think
oh,
is that the same spot? The same spot where you are now, right?
yeah,
This is
this
your
is
filming spot. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it looks a little like a jail cell, but, again, I just kinda make do with what I have. It's
I
like
feel like
people are
that
like, "You should paint this," and I'm like, "I should, but I won't." Like, I
the plant adds a lot. I think the plant adds a lot of
yeah.
aesthetic. The
I
plant
I
helps.
got it at an estate sale. I was like, "I just need a fake plant up in here, so the first big one I find, I'm gonna drag it
There you
downstairs,"
go.
and that's what I did. Yeah. I think I paid $35 for that thing. Yeah.
Now, how many videos was it in? I feel like you already got your money back for it, right?
Yeah, it's been in, like, 12 videos or something probably at
There
this
we go.
point,
See, there you go.
you know?
Boom.
And I thought, "Oh, yeah, I have another little fake plant
Oh, I didn't
there."
see that one.
That one's
That's a cute little
Target.
guy.
And then
Yeah.
these are all of my, like, sticker and planning supplies because 'cause I'm really, really cool, and it's
Oh,
like
I thought they were books. I thought that you try to make like a teacher aesthetic
no,
back there.
no,
And
it's so
what does the
messy.
sign say?
So actually the wife of the videographer friend who made me get started, she made that and it's a Hamilton quote. It says
Ah,
passionately smashing every expectation. I love Hamilton. It's one of my favorite musicals. I feel like I'm very basic for saying that, but
I feel like I would lose more friendship points if I say I never watched it. So I will not say anything.
it's on Disney Plus. You have
I don't
no
have
excuse.
Disney Plus. I
Okay,
don't
then
have
you have
Disney
an
Plus.
excuse. Fine,
Yeah.
fine. It's
Yeah,
so good.
I feel like I'm so out of the loop on that because like everybody and their mom watched it, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I feel like I should watch it, but now I feel like I want to be the cool guy that doesn't watch it just because of that.
Don't
I
be that
also
guy.
don't know
Don't
if
be
I'm a
that
big musical guy. I don't know
Mhm.
if that's a thing for me. One of my
Yeah.
exes made me watch La La Land with her. That was a musical, right? With Emma Stone and Ryan
I have
Gosling.
I haven't seen that one, which
Whoa!
I
What
know.
fake musical lover you are.
So you watch Hamilton and I'll watch La La Land.
I actually liked La La Land a lot. I liked La La Land
I
a
know,
lot.
I heard it's
Yeah.
great and it won all the awards and stuff. I just like never got around to it. I don't really watch
And
movies.
Ryan Gosling, the actor, learned piano just for the movie, and he
Oh,
can
really?
probably play it better than me. So it's pretty impressive.
Dude, but
Yeah.
he's a phenomenal musician. Like I just saw a video of him the other day when he was a kid, as part of like I think it was as part of the Mickey Mouse Club, and it's like him singing and dancing and JT and what's the other guy? JC Shaw's, from NSYNC. They're like all in this little thing as like little 9 and 10-year-olds. And Ryan Gosling is so good. Like he's so
Really?
cute and
Oh.
little, but he can sing his face off. Yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
So speaking of singing, Have you always wanted like a career in music, or that someone just came about?
I knew since I was in second grade that I wanted to be a teacher, and I knew when I was
Wow.
12 that I wanted to be a choir teacher. Yeah.
No
So
way. At 12?
I did since I was 12. I was in a children's choir, and that director was like she started directing the choir when she was 16. When she was 19, she took us on tour to Korea and Thailand, and then when she was like 22 or something, she took us to Europe. So we went to like Austria and Prague, and um like I didn't I think I kind of knew at the time that she was like ridiculously talented. But it was like this little children's choir of just like Korean kids. And she was like this small, but like such a strong Korean woman that just like blew my mind with how
Sounds
good
like
she was at
you.
music. And so,
Yes.
I mean, because I saw her do it, I was like, that's what I want to do when I'm, and
That's
like out of that
crazy.
choir, there's like 3 or 4 of us who were in that choir. Now we're teaching choir. I mean, she had such a large
Wow.
impact on us. Like she was just a beast. And now she's the like head director of the Chicago Children's Choir, and she was the youngest to get that post. I think she basically stopped teaching the little, children's choir that I was a part of, and she left to go do the Chicago Children's Choir. I think she was like 22. Like it was just unheard of that someone of that age could have a job of such high caliber. But I knew, yeah, since I was 12 in a choir with under her like tutelage, that that's what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, even in high school, like I was in choir, and my choir teacher knew I wanted to be a choir teacher, and like he just kind of guided me towards like, okay, so take these classes, like take AP World History so you can learn about like, just the world, and like these different places and why music is the way that it is. And
Mm,
like he let me direct stuff for our concerts, he let me write music for our concerts. Like he was also a huge like person
dang.
who helped me, like keep my love of not just music but like teaching music. And then I went to college for it because I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Like it was just I knew for a
Wow.
very long time. Yeah,
That's very rare, I would say. I think you're like
it
in the
is.
1%.
Yeah, it's very
Well,
rare
yeah.
for
When
sure.
I was 12, I think I wanted to be like an astronaut or something, or like a professional football player.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
never that a choir teacher, that's for sure.
I know. No, I
Yeah.
knew.
Do
Yeah,
you still keep up with like your high school teacher or the choir director? Are you still
yeah.
like friends with
So
them? And yeah.
yeah, I am. I'm friends with him like on Instagram and Facebook, and we still have each other's numbers. And um, so I have an acapella group that is an extracurricular group. We rehearse before school and we compete. It's actually the same exact thing as Pitch Perfect, but it's the high school version. So like the competition in the Pitch Perfect movies, well, not the worlds, I think that's fake, but like the first competition, or sorry, the first Pitch Perfect movie is based off of a real
Never seen that
college.
either.
Oh my god.
I should though, because I love
Okay,
acapella. I love
I
acapella. I should
know.
watch
Oh
that.
my gosh. Pitch Perfect is so fun. It's so fun. But like, yeah, the
Yeah.
first one is about like collegiate acapella. I actually competed in that when I was in college too, but they have a high school version of it. And like we've competed against my old teacher, like against his
Wow,
groups and stuff. And he and
that's
I would
cool.
like get dinner
Yeah.
together, and it was such a full circle moment. Yeah, it was crazy. He'd be like, "Can you work with my students?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, like what's happening right now?" And he retired maybe a couple years ago, and when he did, I like reached out to everyone that I knew that had been in his choirs, and had them record like a little video of themselves
Oh,
just like with like a
so
favorite
cute.
memory from choir. And I like made a video and I sent it to him, and he's like, "Did you make this?" I was like,
He
"Yeah,
probably
why?" And he's like, "Oh my
started
God." He's like trying to
crying.
support me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he had such a huge impact on my life as well.
All right.
So
So I know acapella groups always have creative names that have to do with music. What was yours called?
So when I was in college, my a cappella group was called the Rip Chords, and it's because it was first formed as the girlfriends of the male a cappella group that was in existence called the Extension Chords. So like there was the Extension Chords, the girlfriends made their own group. This was like 15 years before I got to college, and so
The
they called
rip
themselves the Rip
cards.
Chords. When I was in high school, I actually started an a cappella group because there was a boy a cappella group, and I was like, how come there's not one for girls? Oh, and so the boys one in high school was called Men's Room, And so ours was called Powder Room. And
There you
then
go.
the acapella group at my high school right now, I inherited the name, but I like it. It's VCR, but it stands for vocal cords required. But I like kind of
Okay.
the retro, like throwback feel of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now,
I know
is
they're
that
always
one
so silly.
both like male and women, or is
So the one that I have is just mixed. And I have had
okay?
2 in the past. And when I had 2 in the past, the girls group was called VHS. So VHS, VCR, they'd go
Let me see.
together. And
I
yeah,
see what you did there. Okay, it's
yeah,
cute.
and VHS. I don't think I came up with it. I think the kids did, but VHS stood for Vocal Harmony Supplied. But then one year, the girls in the group, they like secretly called themselves Overreaction, but like ovary, like a woman's
Oh
ovary,
my
and then action.
goodness.
But it sounds like overreaction.
Overreaction. Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
they got like sweatshirts made. So I have a sweatshirt in my closet right now that
Oh,
says ovary action with all of our names on the back. I don't wear that thing anywhere because people will just
sounds
be like,
like a great whatnot items. I feel like that's something would sell on whatnot.
yes, yes. So, yeah,
That's awesome.
man.
Did,
Yeah.
did you ever watch the sing off back in the day?
I loved the sing off.
Okay, well look at that. Me and you have something in common. I love that show too. We finally
it
found
was
something.
finally. Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah. We do some arrangements from the sing off sometimes,
yeah.
but yeah. I mean, that's how
That's how
pentatonic is.
Pentatonics got formed, right? Yeah, it was a sing
Yeah.
off. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was them.
Oh, it was such a good show.
Yeah,
I was so sad when they stopped it,
man.
but I mean, I
I
get
could
it.
tell right away. Like Pentatonics thing was season 3. Yeah, it's season 3. And I was like, these people are way better than anybody else on this show. It's
You're
like
like, why
poor
do these
everybody
other
else.
people keep showing up? Like, you
Yeah,
should just stay home.
I'm
Yeah.
like, no offense to all you BYU, whatever, like college people. It's
But I do think that year there was one college group, and like the group was like they were pretty good. But there was one guy in that group. I still remember they did like a Queen song, and he did this like he was on his knees and he like, do you
yes.
know what? And I
Yeah,
was like, okay,
he's. I think he's part from that group. They were doing "Find Me Somebody to Love," and he was doing the "Somebody
yes.
to Love," the love note. Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. He was, and I think he actually is on like Broadway now or something. But
Oh
like
yeah, probably. Yeah.
his group
He
was,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that
That was
season was really
the Queen medley. That's what they were
good.
doing. That was
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's
Oh
always
my
my favorite
gosh.
part when they do a medley of like 3 different songs and like you mix together. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that guy
Yes.
was good. So
He was
this was like back in the day where like I would just like I would see the people on there and I would like add them on Facebook and stuff. So I'm friends on Facebook
yeah.
with a couple of like sing off contestants.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
love it. It's so sad though. Like, so there's a lot of like acapella conferences or conventions, and like
Do you go
there's
to
a lot of
those?
people like, huh?
Do you go to those? Are you a
I
regular
mean,
at the acapella
sometimes I'll bring my
convention?
students. I'll bring my students sometimes. Like we've performed at some and like what, but like the special guests are like the rejects from the sing off, like people or like groups that like didn't do well and like they're the ones that this is like how they make a living now, like they're not out there making
Yeah.
albums like Pentatonics, but they're just kind of doing these like conferences and stuff. But yeah, so we'll see them
Yeah.
sometimes.
Interesting. That's pretty fun. I always
Yeah.
want to be in that group, but I never had the talent. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch from afar and enjoy it.
You don't know that. I mean,
Oh, I know. I know my limits. I know my
I bet
limits.
you're a stellar singer.
I
Like
am
you
not.
gotta
I can tell you that. I'm the only one that has ever led worship in my church without actually singing. So I can tell
you
you
do
I'm
it from
not.
the piano.
I do the piano and then I actually tell everybody else what to sing and then not sing myself.
That's kind of like Kirk
So,
Franklin. I feel like Kirk
yeah.
Franklin, that man doesn't really sing, but he's like
No,
one of the world's most
he
renowned
got a
worship.
lot. Yeah, he's very good, very high energy. That Kirk Franklin guy is.
Yes, he
He can
is.
make it. So like I
Yeah.
understand what sounds good, and I know that doesn't include me. So I'd be like, oh, can you actually like instead of doing the solo here, can you do the harmonize this part? So I tell the people what to do, and they did it.
Yeah.
That was the beautiful part about it.
Which is an important role.
Very
Yeah.
important. Very
Mm-hmm.
important. But they were like, you're leading worship today. You don't need the mic. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'll have a mic because I'm gonna say some stuff in between, but
Yeah.
you want to hear me singing? No.
Awesome.
So,
I love that.
I know my limits, Becky. I know my limits.
Okay, fine.
Thanks. I'm
I don't
talented in
believe.
so many other ways. So like
Mhm.
just singing would just make me so boastful
It would be
that there is no
unfair
like.
to the rest of
It would be
us. Yeah.
unfair. It would be unfair. That's how I look
Okay.
at it.
That makes sense then. I can.
Yeah,
Okay.
is it?
It's all coming together.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, back to you now. Forget about it.
Okay.
This isn't the Philly Flipper show. This is the Becky Park show.
Which people like that show
Yeah,
too. So
yeah. So you're out here killing it, being a choir director, teaching all these kids, and then you have this thought of quitting and going full time. Tell me about that part of your life.
yeah. So there was. So actually, I think I was contemplating quitting teaching, and by quitting I mean like asking for a year's leave of absence, which you
Yeah.
can do as a teacher. I think you can do up to 2 years. Maybe you don't get paid obviously during that time, and I don't think you like hold on to like your health insurance
Now,
and stuff.
can anyone do this, or is this just like a Chicago, like an Illinois thing?
I'm not sure, like, if it's nationwide, but like at least for my district, as long as you're a tenured teacher, you were able to, take a year's leave of absence. And all that really meant was you were guaranteed a job in the district when you were done with your
Yeah,
leave of absence, but that didn't even guarantee that you were
your
going
old
to be able to
position.
teach in your,
Yeah,
yeah. But I think like one reason for it was we were just coming off, like I think it was the year after COVID. And to be honest, like COVID was very hard as a teacher for many reasons, but then it was so wonderful to like be home. Like just to like provide a little bit of context to choir teachers, they may not have as much work as other teachers when it comes to things like grading and stuff like that. Like I'm not doing like worksheets or giving written tests that kids, whatever. I'm not
yeah,
grading all this crazy stuff. But instead, we're putting in a lot more like face-to-face hours with kids in rehearsals and performances. Like some of these kids, I legit would see them more in the day than their own parents would. Like I would see their
wow,
kids starting at 7. They'd have like 1 or 2 classes with me sometimes. Sometimes like when I was doing the musicals, like I would be with them in rehearsal for like 3 hours after school. If it was tech week, we were there till like 9 or 10 at night. And so like I would legit like their parents would text me and be like, tell my kid I said hi. Like it was like that
wow.
bad.
Mhm.
And so COVID, like being home and like being with my family all the time, I was like, what is this life? Like,
What is this feeling?
yeah, like that part of it was really nice. And so to be honest, like going back to school after that was kind of jarring. It was kind of like, and when I looked at my numbers of like how I was doing when it came to like reselling and YouTube and all the things that come with it, I was like, I'm making more money doing this stuff than I am from
Yeah,
teaching. And I'm not putting in the same kind of hours that I am as a teacher. And I think that speaks a lot more about like what we value in this country than
yeah.
anything else. But
The teacher
I was
salary
like,
isn't the
yeah,
greatest, I would guess. Yeah,
it's not the greatest. And so I, talked to my husband about it and like he agreed, okay, like why don't you try a year's leave of absence? And I turned my letter in to my superintendent and my administration. I let them know that that's what I wanted to do. But then it was just like, at the end of the year, that's when like everyone gets all lovey-dovey and everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna miss this so much. And like, everyone's just, and I like totally fell victim to it too. And like I was just like, I can't leave these kids. Like, I can't not do this. And so at that time, I was like, this isn't the right thing for me to do. And that's not to say that I'm going to teach forever or until, it's time to
yeah,
retire. Like, for me, I think, especially if and when I start feeling like, you know what, it's really hard for me to like relate to these kids or like, it's hard for me
you
to
just
like,
need one bad batch of kids, one
I
bad
know,
batch,
right?
and
I've
you're
had
done.
my batches, yeah. But like the moment where I feel like I'm just not like relevant anymore, I think it'll be really easy for me at that time to be like, you know what, like I think it's time for someone else to step in here. And but like right now, it's still like really easy to just like hang out with them, joke around with them, like have a good time, make good music. And I think as long as that is there, like I think the right thing for me to do is to stay in that position
Yeah.
and just keep building those relationships and stuff, especially like remembering, what my choir teacher, like the two of them, the kind of
Yeah.
impact that they had on me. And there are some students of mine who like legit come to school because of choir. Like I've had kids who would like come to acapella in the morning, skip their first 3 classes, come to choir, and then like bounce again. And I'm like,
Wow.
you need to stay at school. Like, what are you doing? But like they really just came to sing. And that's every kid needs one thing to like keep them coming to school,
Yeah.
and for some of them it's singing, for some of them it's art or whatever, but yeah, so it feels
And
special to be
I
part
could
of
tell,
something
yeah,
like that.
I could tell your kids like you too. Whenever you
Oh,
post like selfies that they take on your phone and stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah,
I know,
they
I
definitely
found
like
another
it.
one.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
No, they're great kids. I mean, this batch that I have right
And
now, they're
what
great.
age group is it again?
High school.
High school. Okay, so some of
Mhm.
these people you see 4 years in a row, like they're in your class
Yeah.
from freshman to senior year. You see them pretty much grow up.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
really like get to know them and their family so well. I just graduated a senior last year who I had her 2 older sisters. Like I've known this family for like 9 years,
Wow.
So it's just really
Dang, you're
special and
old.
unique.
You're old,
I
Becky.
know. I know. This is my 9th year teaching at this school, and it's not even my first teaching gig, like I've taught at other
Wow.
places after this. So yeah.
So do your old students come and visit you too? Do you have people that you taught like 7, 8 years ago just show
I
up and say hi?
do. Yeah, I do, and it's always special. Or like, I feel like kids don't do that as much anymore because of social media. They just hit you up on,
Yeah,
Facebook, or like a lot of them just text me. And but yeah, I there are some who will come by every time they're in town, and it's fun. It's so good to see them. Yeah. And I have
I
kids who
should
have
do
gone
that.
on to study music education themselves, and it's really cool.
Damn. I, I, I never did that. I probably should. I don't know if my
You
teachers will
never
remember me at
visited
this
your high
point.
school?
No, as soon as I was out, I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
And was high
I have
school like a
never.
good experience for you, or like not so much, or
I don't really take education seriously, so
yeah,
it was just like I I knew I
yeah,
was
I
never
got
going to
it.
be a college student. I knew I wasn't. I never took never took my SATs. I never did any of that stuff.
Wow.
So I was just
Uh-huh.
like, it is what it is. So I was just there just to have fun. And my
Yeah.
some of the teacher, so like if I liked the subject I cared, and some of the teachers just will just get mad at me. They're like, you get A's in all your tests. Why don't you do your homework? And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is pointless.
Yeah.
It's like so
Yeah.
like that's how it is. My mom always gets so frustrated because she's like, "You're so smart. You're wasting it away. Just do your homework." I'm like, "It's stupid. Well, why
Yeah.
do I need to do it?" Or I would do it, but then they'd be like, "Prove your work," and I would never prove my work. I'm like, I just the answer. There's the answer. You don't need to
Yeah.
know how I got there. I just got there. So
Yeah.
that was. But I had a couple of really good teachers that I liked. Well, like you said, your choir director kind of like I guess influenced your thing. I had a really cool accounting teacher that I had from ninth
Oh,
grade to
wow.
12th grade. He was super cool, and because of him, I wanted to be an accountant because I thought accounting was fun. But then when I got
Uh-huh.
to college, I realized that the teacher just was the one that made it fun. It
Yeah.
wasn't the subject. So like
Yeah.
it'd be fun to go back and visit him, but they're already in PA, so it
Mhm.
might be hard. And
And
I don't
who
think they know who I am, to be honest. But I
just
can
send
come and
him a
say,
link
"Hey,
to him.
I'm a huge YouTuber now." I could come in like that, right? Just say, "Hey, look at
You
me,
could.
huge YouTuber."
You could potentially be the most famous person from your high school, you know?
I don't think that bar is gonna be set that high, but you could be right.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
I
know of
was
any of like crazy people. It's funny because I don't even know who like follows me anywhere or whatever. And then recently, somebody from my high school liked one of my Instagram posts, like, and I'm like, "You follow?" I
yeah.
messaged him like, "I'm like, you follow me?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been following you since the very beginning. It's awesome to see what you do." I'm like,
Yeah. Isn't
"Okay,
that wild?
that's interesting. Thanks."
Yeah. So were you this tall in high school?
I had my growth spurt in 10th grade, and my mom
Oh
wanted
my
to kill me.
She's like,
I
please stop.
was 5'9" in 10th grade, and 10th grade I was 6'2". So so I had
That's
quite a growth
insane.
spurt, and like I had to get new pants like every month because they would just be too short, and then I had to get new shoes every couple of months
Yeah.
because they would be too small. So that was my big growth spurt. Then I kept growing, obviously, but yeah,
Oh my
that
gosh.
was my thing. That was my thing. That was my year. 10th grade. It was a good year for me.
That's insane.
Were
I think
you
that's
this
my
tall in high school too? Were you this tall in high
I
school?
think
Or
I've
did you
been this
have
height since I think I've been this height since 8th grade. Like
you never had your growth spurt?
I kept waiting. I'm like, it's coming. This is the year. And then sorely
Are
disappointed.
are your
Yeah.
parents tall or no? Or just you just
My
didn't know?
mother is 1 inch shorter than I.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, there
I
you
think
go.
we know why I am the way that I am. And then my father is like maybe like 5'7", which like for a Korean man
Okay.
is like, especially of his generation, is like pretty good. Both of my brothers though, I think are taller than my dad, but I just
Yeah.
really went on the other end of that spectrum. Just
Just
yeah.
it's interesting because my mom is 5'1" maybe, so she's not that
Oh my
tall, and then my
gosh.
dad's 6'1". There's a big difference
Okay.
there, but then I was like 4 inches taller than my dad. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, because
That's
my sister's I think is like one's like 5'10", the other one's like 5'6", so they're not as tall as me though. It's just like I don't know what happened
but
there.
they're not short. Yeah.
They're not sure. They're not Becky Park
Yeah.
height.
They're not. Yeah. Oh man. I
That
know.
that
I
was a
feel
shocking thing because yeah, I had
like
no
at
clue how
FlipCon,
short you
people get
were.
that comment a lot. Like, oh my God, you're so much taller than I thought you'd be. Like, did you hear that a lot at FlipCon?
Yeah, I heard that at the rally more. I went to the rally
Okay.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Holy moly, this guy is huge." So
Yeah.
I think, but like, I got the quite a bit. Yeah, it's something I get
Yeah.
all the time.
And that's what I get
I'm
all
a
the
big
time.
presence. So I'm
Yeah.
always trying to smile and be happy because if I don't, it's very intimidating. They're like, "Oh, look at this giant over here. I want to come and say hi to
Yeah.
him."
No, I remember when we got to FlipCon because you were awesome and you picked me up from the airport, even though I
I
told you you did not
was.
have to, but you were so sweet. You came and got me.
Um,
And I remember we got to the hotel and I heard people behind me being like, oh my gosh, she's so small. I was like,
yeah,
I
can you
know.
believe that? I was.
I was like, I know people. Like, you can't tell height through YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
I think for you is that you just have such a powerful like presence, and you're just like
Oh,
so like, and I was like, oh, she has to be like at least 5'7" with how she presents all these like videos and stuff. It's just so much power coming through the screen. I'm like, oh, she has to be at least 5'7". I'm like, oh, she's
yeah.
not.
And I think a lot of it comes too from like being a high school teacher, and 99% of my students are so much taller than me. You know, you had your growth spurt in 10th grade. I have students who are like 6'3", 6'5", you know, and it's
hmm
just like, it's kind of ridiculous that I teach, but, and like, yeah, so I don't have the physicality to like scare them into doing what I want them to do. Cause some teachers, they're just big or they're just
Yeah.
loud or, you know, they're just whatever. I just have to like figure out a way. So, but yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Like they're all much bigger than me. But
So
we make it work.
to other fellow show people that are watching, how do you show fear? How do you express fear to these high schoolers?
I know. I
Do
think
you
the
yell?
best
Are you
way.
a screamer?
No, I think that's the best way to do it is not to yell. So when you do, they're just like, oh
Oh,
my, you know, like when you're just kind of
yeah.
like a happy-go-lucky whatever, but like when something happens that like, and it's usually if like they're mean to each other, then
Uh-huh.
or if like they're really phoning it in, then I just get real quiet and I just like don't talk and I just kind of stand there and like stare at them, and then they start figuring out like, wait, what's happening? And then I just like lose it, and because that doesn't happen, that's when they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you know, I think if you yell too much, it like loses its effect, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
there we go. So there's a tip from Becky for you guys.
Yeah.
Don't yell that much. Save it for the special moments.
Honestly, yeah. I think that's what does it.
Yeah. And how do you always wonder, since you're probably you're not just teaching them, you're singing the whole time as well, right? Like, how do you
Yeah.
ever have a voice at the end of the day? That's always
So
mesmerizing to
if
me.
you watch YouTube videos from like my first and second years, there are many videos where I'm talking like this. Like I have no voice. And I'm like, I have to film, like, so but like I have no voice. I think I've finally, part of it is like I've built up kind of the stamina. I also think I probably have some scarring on my vocal cords. Like there's
Oh,
this really
really?
interesting, I think so. There's this interesting video of Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, and they they do this when you go like see the ENT, like if you're worried that you have like polyps or vocal nodes or something, they can check it one of two ways. One is like they have this tube and they just like shove it in the back of your mouth, and there's a camera, and you have to like open your mouth and sing and do all these things, and it just like the camera's here and it kind of is right above your vocal folds. And then the other way is there's like a small little tube that almost looks like a string, and they kind of like shove it up through your nose and weave it back so that it's hanging over your again, your throat. So there's this really interesting documentary of Steven Tyler where he's got the one up his nose hanging over his vocal cords, and he like performs a concert with them in because they wanted to see what does his vocal cords look like. And what they learned
Interesting.
is that he's got scarring on his vocal cords, and he just uses it as part of his instrument. That's why he's got kind of that like raspiness to his tone and stuff, and it's just
Interesting.
permanently there. Yeah, so I feel like there's probably some of that going on with me, and I'm finally it's kind of like just so scarred over that like I'm able to just like power through. But man, it was really hard in the first like 10 years. And then I think too, because I was singing so much at church, like I used to sing at so many services. So it was like the combination of that and teaching. My voice was just shot, but I don't sing as much at church anymore because we've kind of like calmed down as a church as far as like the number of like services and stuff that we do. So, and there's like other people who sing now too. So I don't sing as much there. And even at school, like I'm trying not to sing as much with the kids, but just kind of like listen more. And then like, yeah, as I've gotten older, I've like yelled less and less at students. And so
That also
yeah,
helps. Huh?
yeah. It's a combination
I
of
thought
all
you
the
had
things.
like special massages that you did or something, or like some
No,
special fluids that you drank, some hot tea or something that
no.
helps. Does that help at
But
all, or is
in
that just like a myth?
I do, when my voice is starting to feel really tired, I will drink warm honey water. I think like if you do
Honey
lemons and stuff,
water.
maybe yeah, but the honey really kind
Just
of calms it
water,
down.
just hot water and honey.
Yeah, that's my favorite
Interesting.
remedy, but everyone kind of does different things. Oh my gosh, I did this in the last video too with RIN, but my battery is low, so I have to go get my charger.
Oh
And I
boy.
have to move locations. This is exactly what I had to do.
Uh,
I thought I would have enough this time, but I do not. So
Dang,
you're
I'm
gonna have to
prepared.
edit this out. I'm so
I'm, I'm
sorry.
I'm already putting
Okay, and then
timestamps in.
I know you get to watch me walk through my space,
107.
and
Uh,
you're gonna
I,
see.
I feel like I want to keep this in now. This is
You
great. This is
can,
great
but this.
TV.
Oh, I almost died. You can keep that in if you want. Okay, so now we're at my
Look at.
bins, which is exactly what happened for RIN.
So, do your kids look at you and want to do anything with music,
Um,
or maybe like
my
YouTube? I know you said Levi wants to do something with like YouTube, right?
Yeah, so they're both kind of obsessed with YouTube. They like love watching YouTube. They have like favorite YouTubers and stuff. My son, who's 6, he has like 7 YouTube channels that he wants to make. He has names for all of them. And actually, he he like he was asking for my help one day. He's like, how do I make silver? And I'm like, what? And he's like, I need like a lot of silver paint or something. And I'm like, what are you talking? He wanted to make a YouTube play button. And so we got
Aw.
like cardboard, and I put aluminum foil around it. And then we got like more cardboard, cut like the little YouTube play button, and then like covered that in aluminum foil, and like he wrote like the name of one of his channels that he wants, and he stuck it on his wall.
I
Like
love that.
this boy, yeah, like
He's
the fact that as a
manifesting it.
6-year-old,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And then we went to Hobby Lobby to get a birthday present for a party that my daughter was going to. And then while we were there, he saw this like gold glitter poster board or something. And he was like, I need that for my other play button for like when you get this many views or this many. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we got like a gold one and then like a diamond one. Is there a diamond play button or something?
I think so. I think it goes 100,000, a million, and 10 million. So I think by the 10 million is probably the diamond one. So
Okay. So
he's
I don't
going to have
even
10 million
know.
subs. Levi's going to have 10 million subs is what
Yeah.
he's done.
Yeah, it's so he's very into it. I don't think he has any desire to do music whatsoever. I am forcing him to do piano lessons. That's like the one Asian mom stereotype that I have given him. It's like, you will learn how to play piano.
Yeah.
And Lucy, though, she really likes music.
Tell
She
her
actually,
it will help him get the ladies. Just say that piano will get to
yeah,
help you get the ladies
yeah.
in the future. That's definitely
Oh
very true.
man. I mean, I think that his diamond play button will do it better, but you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
probably right.
But yeah, my daughter has a really nice voice. I could see her like wanting to do stuff with it, but I don't know. Like, I feel like there are so many people who are very passionate about music and they do music, but then it never becomes like their career because it's hard, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. It's like the starving artist.
What about gymnastics with her? I saw your post today. Almost made me cry.
Yeah,
It was a very emotional post.
I know. She's doing gymnastics. She's been doing it for a while. She just started a new level this summer, and it's hard. It's a bunch of new skills that she doesn't know how to do. And she's one of those kids where like things come when it comes to gymnastics, things come very slowly to her. She's like one of the last people to get them on her team. But when she gets it, she makes it look so good and it's like so graceful. So like on her team last year, she got the highest scores on like everything. She like went to state, she like placed it, you know, on a lot of events at state and stuff. And so I keep telling her, I'm like, it's not about who gets there first. It's about who executes the best, you know? But like we're in that place again with this new level of all these new skills. And she comes home crying. She comes home frustrated. And she's like, I'm so bad at this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not that you're bad at it. Like your body just doesn't like your body is strong enough to do it, but your mind keeps telling you for some reason that you can't and like gets in your way. So yeah, but that mixed with the preteen years is like, there's just a lot, you know? So I've just been very overwhelmed with like, how do I have these conversations? Like how do we maneuver through this? It gets hard. I don't know.
I believe
But
it. I don't have kids, but I believe it.
yeah. And then I remember what I was like that age, and I'm like, oh Lord have mercy. Like, please don't.
Please just don't be me.
Oh my gosh, I know. So no, she's very good though. She just it's hard at that beginning stage. So
Were you also like a stereotypical Asian kid? Did you play piano? Did you do
yeah,
gymnastics and all that too?
My mom started me on piano when I was 4. I played a
Oh,
song at my
sheesh.
kindergarten graduation.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I was the firstborn. So she was like very strict with me. So I had to practice every day. I had to do it. And every day she's like, you're going to thank me one day. And I do. Like, if it weren't for piano, I don't think I would. You know, like it's very helpful to
She's
be
like,
able
she
to
was
play
right.
piano
She was
well.
right. Yeah.
She was absolutely right. And they were really strict about grades and stuff. But man, like I think I started struggling a lot with school in like middle school. And my parents were like crazy. My dad didn't care. My dad was like, I got all kinds of grades when I was a kid, so it's fine. But my mom's like, kind of like what you were saying. She's like, but you're so smart. Like you should be getting all A's. Like that makes no sense. And blah, blah. So she was pretty typical, but I mean, I definitely know of parents who are a lot worse. And at the best thing I can say about them too is like most Korean people, if they told their parents like I want to be a choir teacher, their parents would be like, what Like, why don't you want to be a
Yeah.
doctor or a lawyer or whatever? And like, there was a little bit of that. My mom's like, you're so good at arguing with me. You should be a lawyer. I'm like, I don't want to be a lawyer. And I'll never be home and blah, blah, blah. But like, they're so supportive of the fact that I, you know, I'm a choir teacher. And they like brag about me all the time to their friends. And they're so supportive of like the reselling and the YouTube stuff too, which I did not think that they would be. I thought they'd be
That's
like
cool.
really disgusted with it, but they like tell all their friends. They like play my channel constantly. Like they're really cool.
So
Yeah.
that's how you get all these subscribers. It's all your
It's
mom
all
doing.
the watch time is them. Yeah. Yeah.
I need to get I need to get in your mom's level. Mom needs to know who I am, so she
You
can
do.
pass me up to
You
other
do.
people too.
Yeah.
But
Honestly.
my parents are like are very similar to yours. Like when I told them about the whole reselling, the whole YouTube, they're like, we don't understand,
Yeah.
but we trust you, and we know that
Yeah.
if you put your mind to it, it's gonna work out. And
Mhm.
so a lot of us said like Slavic parents, Ukrainian Russian parents were also the same way. Like, no, you have to be a mechanic, you have to be a doctor, you have to be this. Mine were like, nope. If this is what you want to do, you're gonna go do it. Yeah, so it's awesome to have
Yeah.
that kind of support. It's definitely very important.
100%. So that's been good.
Yeah. So tell me some of Levi's channels. I want to steal these ideas.
So there's Levi on the go. There's Levi and Lucy on the go. There's Parks on the go. A lot of them goes.
Oh,
I think
he wants to be on the go. Let's see that. He wants to be.
Non on the go channels are like Levi's Gaming. I don't know. So I mean, and my brother's always like, dude, just let him do it. Just let him start a channel. And I'm like, but how? Like, I can't edit his, like, I don't have any more time to like take on another channel. But like, Levi's like, I'll do it. He's like, I just need the equipment. And I'm like, what do you need? And like his main thing
equipment.
Yeah. He's like, I just need this stuff. He's like, well, I really need like a PC. And I'm like, okay, you are 6 years old. Like, what? Like,
you need a PC.
He's like, but if I don't have a PC, how am I gonna like film myself while I'm, and I'm like, well, we just have to get really creative. I'm like, you can get like a tripod and like you can have your grandma's old iPhone and like put it on the tripod and like film yourself while you're playing. We can like insert that into like the screen recording of whatever. And I'm like, we can't buy you a PC. Like, what are you talking about? But like, and then but he doesn't even know how to play games on the PC. He just plays on his iPad. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, if you really want this, then like you got to do the research. And he's bright. Like he's smart. He's 6 years old. He's in first grade. But like the last time he got tested, he was reading at like a 4th or 5th grade reading level. Like he's a bright kid and he can like look stuff up and whatever. But he like wants to do it so bad. And my brother's like, just let him start his channel and then like he'll have like 1 million subscribers by the time he's 12. And he's like, and he's so like weird.
He might not be wrong, to be honest.
I know.
These kids' channels blow up like crazy.
They do, but he's not gonna be one of those like Ryan's World kids that's like, look at mine, like I'm gonna unbox this. Like he really just wants to play games but like when he plays,
he doesn't have a Levi unboxing. That's not one of the 7s he has.
No, he's like not about toys. But he practices now. He plays his games. He's like, okay, guys, so right now what we're doing is, and he's like,
oh, wow, that's cool.
And you'll hear him say things like, okay, so don't forget to hit that like button. If I get this many likes, then in the next video, I'm going to blah, blah. And I'm like, who are you talking to? And he's like, I'm filming.
So cool.
It's wild. Yeah.
It reminds me, one of my subscribers watches the videos with his daughter. I don't know if I sent you this video. And at the end of all my videos, I say, here's my dog Sasha, and I show my dog and I say goodbye. So he was recording her doing like a YouTube thing, and she ended it with like, hi guys, here's my dog Sasha. Good peace out. Like she did my ending. It was the cutest thing I have ever seen.
So cute.
I was like, okay, there we go. She's gonna be. Yeah, when like 3-year-olds are saying, "Here's my dog Sasha," that's when you know it's when you know you do it.
Yes, 1000%. That is so cute. I love that.
And Levi taught me that whole like exclamation point, how to do that. I had no clue how to do that. That was like my mind was blown. That was he's
really good at, again, my brother is just like flabbergasted at this point. Like he's just like, he's like, I really think he's a genius. I'm like, okay, he's not a genius. And he's like, no, but with like iPads and stuff. He's like, the way he maneuvers with
iPads is a genius.
Yeah. He's like, he's a genius. And I'm like, all right. But I mean, he does really know what he's doing. But we went to the library today and he was typing in what he wanted. He was typing in like the name of the book that he wanted. And then he's like touching the screen. I'm like, boy, this is not a touch screen computer at the library. Like what? And he was like holding down the space bar because he was trying to like, that's what he's so used to on the iPad.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to use the mouse. Like there's an actual mouse here. So like, it's kind of messed him up for like normal computers, but
no, but I think if you would have made that little tip thing into like a reel, it probably would have went somewhere because not many people know about that. So there could have been a viral Levi moment.
I should try. I should make it like with like that that little dumb music in the background that everyone uses. But yeah, it's like I mean I have that footage I think still, but. And he was so proud of it. I was like, Levi, look at these comments people are leaving. They're like, wow, I didn't know that. And he's like, should I do another one? I'm like, no, that next tip isn't as good as this first one. I was like, I'm like, that one everyone knows. And I'm like, you got to think of some other good ones like that. But that one, it did. It blew my mind too. It blew my mind.
Yeah. I still use it every day. I was like, wait, you can just do this? I know. And how did he figure it out? He just knew?
And every time I ask him, I'm like, how'd you learn how to do that? Anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, where'd you learn that? He's like, I don't know. I just knew. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever.
He's a smart cookie, that kid.
Yeah.
Must get it from the dad. Can't be from the mom.
Honestly, this cookie follows strange men into, thrift store, like bathrooms. So,
just to get the good deals on the Clark shoes, you got to go to the crazy moments.
Yes, I know.
I don't want to keep you much longer because I know it's late. So I'm gonna end this pretty soon. I end all my shows with a game. Okay, so I'm gonna play a quick game with you, where you rank 5 things blindly. That's what you're going to be doing. I'm going to give you a category. You have to rank things from 1 to 5. 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. The catch is you don't know what's coming next. So I'm going to. Okay, so your thing is dessert. Okay, are you a dessert person? Do you like dessert?
I am. I do like dessert. Yeah,
So I'm going to give you 5 different desserts. You don't know what comes next. You have to put them from 1 to 5. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to start off with cinnamon rolls.
4.
Where are you putting them? 4. Why do you hate cinnamon rolls?
They're okay, and they're not much of a dessert. They're kind of a breakfast.
You eat cinnamon roll for breakfast? Oh, okay. I thought it was like it's a sweet.
Food. Yeah, it is a sweet breakfast food. Yeah,
it's very sweet. Do you do homemade ones or do you Cinnabon?
Never.
What do you do?
I think
I forgot you don't cook. Wait.
Yeah, and my husband is like not into baking. So if there's any baking being done around the house, it's me. But I think I've had Cinnabon once. I feel like I've only done it at like restaurants or like buffets, like Old Country Buffet. They used to have cinnamon. That's
a throwback table. Old Country Buffet. I haven't heard that in a minute.
That was a Korean thing. Ooh, that was like a special treat. You go to Old Country Buffet. Yeah.
No, we would used to go there after church all the time. That was like our Sunday after church thing. Yeah, that was the big one. Yeah. Bringing back memories now.
I know. You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so that's a 4. Tiramisu.
3.
Okay. So.
Texture. I'm not a fan of the texture.
You don't like the texture of it. Oh no, I think tiramisu could have been 1 for me. I love tiramisu.
Wow.
Could eat that by the sleeve.
Oh my god.
Give me a full sleeve of it. That would destroy it.
That's amazing. Yeah, not me.
So you don't like the gooey texture? Or what is it? But the texture you don't like?
I'm trying to remember the last time I had tiramisu. And right now in my brain, I'm kind of mixing it up with like that Mexican tres leches cake, which that one is like watery almost. And I'm just not about that life.
This one isn't that watery, but it is more liquidy and gooey than others. So yeah.
Yeah, and that throws me off.
All right, so that's 3. Got 1, 2, and 5 left. Brownies.
Ooh. Let's say 1, especially considering what the first Since I'm gonna say one,
Hard to
especially with
beat
some.
brownies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh
Mm.
yeah. Oh, ice cream makes anything better. But yeah.
Oh,
Are,
anything. Yeah.
are you an edge brownie person, or do you want to get the one in the
Yes.
middle that doesn't have the edge?
No,
Or
I'm an edge, and my husband is the middle, so it's perfect. I think I'm the
oh, you guys
only
are
edge.
perfect.
I know.
You're
I
the
know.
only edger in your family.
I think I'm the only edge liker. So I get all the corners, and then they have to fight for like the 4 middle pieces, and I'm just happily,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
we have to fight for the corners of my family. If you get the
No,
two edges,
they,
that's the best
yeah,
piece. Mm.
no, they don't know what's up. It's sad, but I benefit, so it's okay.
Are you the one who makes the brownies too? Since your husband doesn't bake,
Yeah, yeah. He
yeah.
he doesn't like get the point, but then he'll eat them and like very emphatically. And I'm like, you should try making these sometimes. Yeah, yeah.
I like brownies too because it has like your house smells good after it too. So it's like a whole
Okay.
experience. It's not just like
Mhm.
the smell, like it tastes good, but like your house smells amazing for like 2-3
Yeah.
hours. It's a good feeling.
And it's
All right, so
simple, and it's one of the rare desserts that is really good out of a box too. You don't have to
yeah,
make it from scratch. Out of a box is just as good. Cookies and stuff,
yep,
I think you got to make that stuff from scratch, but brownies, ooh,
yeah.
good Betty Crocker brownie. Great.
Ooh, now we're talking. All right,
Mhm.
next, cheesecake.
Okay, I'll say 2. Well,
Oh,
yeah, I'll say 2. I
well,
mean, it's definitely high.
it's 2 or 5, so that's the only option
I
you
know.
have. So,
No, we'll say
so
2. Yeah.
you left 5 for the end. It's a
Yeah.
dangerous game you're playing, leaving the worst one for the end.
Let's see what happens.
I actually hate cheesecake.
Really? So does my husband. Do you not
I
like
just cheese.
I get
I
it.
don't know what it is about it. It's just bland to me. I don't know. But
Oh, really?
never understood the liking for it.
Mm. No, I like
Do you have a
it.
certain flavor you like
I
strawberry
like anything
cheesecake?
key lime. I do not like
Oh,
strawberry. I don't like
key
strawberry
lime is amazing.
yes. Yes. So that's probably my favorite. Or like if you have like chocolate on it or something. But any other like fake fruit stuff, I'm not about that life. Yeah.
Okay, so you have
Hmm.
5 left. The worst one,
Okay.
Krispy Kreme glazed donut. Why do you hate Krispy Kreme so much?
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But I would have definitely put
Really?
that higher. I would have put it higher than cinnamon rolls for sure, and I would have put it higher
Then tiramisu.
than tiramisu. But I don't love it. It's all right.
So
It's too
that would have been
messy.
the really, yeah. I guess it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
your hands are very like sticky after you eat it, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But they're good every once in a while. Like they would
So
have been a solid 3, but I'm not mad about it being number 5. It's all right.
in your ideal world, there would be brownies, cheesecake, donuts, tiramisu, and cinnamon rolls. That would be your
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
So I did
All right.
pretty good. I'm pretty happy
You
with
did
how
pretty
that.
good. Yeah, pretty. I
Yeah.
was thinking about throwing more bangers on, but I don't want it to be all just doing like cookies and brownies, just
Yeah.
all like the home runs. I was
Uh-huh.
like, eh.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever have a
Yeah.
chocolate lava cake? What's your experience with that? Did you ever do that?
Chocolate lava?
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
yeah.
Maybe I've had it like once or twice. I'm not super into most cakes, but that one is probably okay. But
Yeah.
I feel like things that are that rich, I can only have so much of. So like a
Yeah.
small sliver, that would have been fine.
Whenever I bring that up, people have no clue what I'm talking about. But I only had them on a cruise ship, so maybe that's why.
Oh, yeah. It's like kind of gooey on the inside, right?
Yeah, yeah. As soon as you put your spoon into it, like it goozes out
Yeah.
like lava. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've only had it
Yeah.
on
No,
cruise ships, so maybe that's why.
yeah, where have I had it? I don't I'm trying to think of like
Uh,
why I even know what it is, but I have had that before.
I thought you
Not
had
on
a Becky Park special secret recipe for chocolate lava cake, and you make it all the time.
definitely not. Definitely only make cakes from boxes. I've never made like the only thing I make from scratch when it comes to desserts, I think, is like cookies. And then we'll make like bread and stuff. We'll bake bread, but that's
Oh,
not
bread is kind of hard. You have to
The
wait.
bread is
You have
like
to.
4 ingredients.
You still have
It's
to like
pretty simple.
you wait for it to rise and all that stuff too, right? You can
I mean, I
you
have a
just
bread maker. That's why.
well, so
Yeah.
you're cheating.
I cheat.
You're a
So I
cheater.
just throw the ingredients in the bread maker. And when I say I make bread, I mean I make it once every like 2 years. It's not like a regular occurrence, but yeah, you just throw the ingredients in the correct order in the thing, turn it on, and then the next
Yeah.
morning you've got bread. So it's
Yeah,
pretty nice.
we have this thing called Easter bread in Ukrainian cultures. My mom used to always bake it, and this was like a whole like 2-3 day process because she
Oh
put
my
them in
God.
different things, and she had to wait for all the yeast to rise in all of them. Then she had to bake them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they looked amazing. I'm trying to find some pictures.
Yeah.
Pascha
Would it be like
bread.
loaves or like rolls?
No, they're like bunt kind of shapes.
Oh, wow.
I'll show you some pictures. They're
Okay.
quite spectacular.
That's amazing.
They look like this when it's done.
Oh
And
my
there's the
So
frosting on there.
did she have like special molds that they would go in
Yes.
to like that shape? Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is what they look like at the end.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I've never tried that before. You can't find that at Old Country Buffet.
No, man. And she would make it for like the whole like neighborhood and stuff when she would do them. So that's how it would look like with the eggs and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
And taste delicious.
Uh-huh.
But when she did it, it was like a whole time. It was like a 4 or 5 day process to make it work good. So when you said bread, I thought that's what you were doing. I thought I was very impressed for a second, but no.
Different bread.
It's just
Cheating
bread
bread.
makers and Betty Crocker is what I learned about you. It's just Betty Crocker and bread makers.
And that's why my husband does
So
the
get
cooking.
get a sponsorship. I'm sure Betty Crocker would like to work with you.
I'm thinking
Something you can
not.
do.
Yeah.
You never know.
I think
You never
they'd
know.
be like, I don't think so, but that would be
They're
cool.
They'd be like, hey, my name is Becky Park. I'm huge on YouTube, and I would love to work with you. That's how you gotta present yourself.
And then figuring out the seamless way of incorporating that somehow into my reselling content. Like,
yeah, so
hey,
anyways, like
to make some brownies.
So I saw this really nice Lily Pulitzer dress. Oh, and I also made these brownies by Betty Crocker. They're very beautiful.
Yeah, like ding,
Very simple.
hold on. Do you smell that? Like, I think we gotta go pull something out of the oven right now. It's just so natural. That's the way to
Did you ever
do it.
watch the Truman Show?
Yeah.
Remember when they're like in an argument and she does like an ad in the middle of the argument. He's like, "Who are you saying this to?"
She's like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, that movie.
This is gonna be that's gonna be you when you just insert random sponsorships into your videos.
But just trying to make it as natural as possible. Like, let's take a walk over to the oven really quick. And the last thing that sold, it kind of reminds me of, and I'm not like throwing shade at all. I just thought this was so funny. Like a long time ago, Josh from Harry Tornado did a what sold video, but it was like while he was playing golf. So he'd be like, okay, guys, like I'm gonna like, I don't know what the terms are called because I don't golf. Like I'm gonna putt or whatever. And he's like on the golf cart. And he's like, all right, so the next sale that I'm gonna talk about. And it's like, what is happening right now, Josh? Like, I think he was like, okay, so today I have to film, but I also really want to golf.
Want to play golf? Yeah, let's make it happen. There we go.
I was so confused, but I was like, okay, like I mean, I'm still here, so.
That could be you. You could be what you could be doing. You could be recording in your corner. They're like, oh man, my battery on my laptop is low. Let me go get my charger. And while you're walking to the charger, stop by the kitchen. Oh, you guys smelled that? It's brownies. Like that could work.
Did it for me. Perfect. This is
it feels like it was part of the whole plan, People would love that.
So natural. I forgot I put these in about 28 minutes ago in my Pyrex that I got at this garage sale last week. That's how you tie it together, right?
There we go. See? Boom. Perfect. We
Yep.
brainstormed and we got there. That's the most important part.
So please cut this part for me so I can send it to Betty Crocker. This is my
There,
pitch. Is this right here?
there
Hey,
we
Betty.
go. There we go.
That's all you need to see.
So, anyways, I feel like I did a really bad job promoting you this whole time. So,
I
you can
think
get the
this is
final
exactly who
say
I
at
am.
the end. Final say at the
Basically,
end.
these are all the things that we talked about. This is all you need to know about me. So, job well done. Look out for me on the Betty Crocker website in the very near future. And you can tell people you knew me before I made it big.
There we
because of
go.
it.
So,
Yeah.
you guys saw her on the Phlip Side before you guys saw her on the Betty Crocker website.
This
There we
is
go.
correct. This is
Yeah.
correct.
But
Yes.
if
Yeah.
you guys want to see more of Becky, I'll link her YouTube, link her Instagram. She says she doesn't put out that much videos, but she puts out videos probably say at least twice a week. Maybe.
That's my
Am I
goal.
wrong?
But this week I
No.
have put up 0 videos. I
Yeah.
just school's kicking my butt. But the goal
Well, your
is to
last
get
video was an hour and 8 minutes long, so you probably needed a break
this
from
is
that.
true. It was the course of like 6 months though. It was like,
Yeah.
but then piecing it
And
together, I did
you
want
did
to
like
die.
your last 3 were like 1:15. That one's like a 40-minute, like an hour. It was very good for me because I was like, all right, I got an hour of Becky again. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
This next one will probably only clock in at like 30, 35. But like I'm at the point where I'm like, I should just hire an editor, like just to claim some of my life back. But it gets more and more difficult to sit down and like want to edit. But I'll do it. I'll power through and get a video up
There
by
you go.
Saturday at the latest. So yeah.
there you go. Well, this is coming out on Sunday, so they'll
So you can see
they'll
my
have
latest
it.
website.
Let's
There you
see.
go.
You guys will see what's holds, tips and tricks. What other things would they find on your channel? I don't know.
It's mainly that I do some hauls. I do vlogs every now and then. They're very, very rare because my life is just not really worth hanging out with me for. Like it's just kind of like, okay. Yeah, I think that's mainly it. Yeah.
She does some of these kind of interviews from time to time, but I haven't seen one of those in a while as well. So
Yeah.
those come up, but it's just a big mixture of stuff. So yeah,
Yes.
sure you guys go and subscribe. Link is down below. She's kind of cool.
Oh, well, thank you. You're not so bad yourself.
Oh, you stop it. Anyway, Becky, thank you so much for. What'd you say? Your new what?
I said my new publicist, my new
Oh,
or
there
what's
we
the
go.
manager? You can be my new manager.
I can
and get me
imagine.
the- yeah.
You can't afford being Becky.
That's true.
That's
true. Right?
You can afford this. You can't afford this.
That's true. You just did help me land Betty Crocker, so
I did. I feel like we got to be friends for life now. That I helped to land Betty Crocker. That's a hard get.